And today we'll be running any percent.
Thankfully.
Thankfully, is the most common category for Bionicle Heroes is relatively fast compared to some other LEGO games, but it's also really long compared to the rest of them. So anyway, we should be able to start here in about 3, 2, 1, and go.
Right. So, this is Bionicle Heroes. It's one of the first LEGO games made by TT Games, and it shows. So you will see that some things are similar to other LEGO games that you have already seen in this marathon, and some things are way different. For starters, there is no no-cut fight. You just have to watch every cutscene. You cannot skip any of them, basically. Well, asterisk.
Most of them.
Yeah. So here we see that Footless is just killing enemies as this is slightly fast, and then he's going to actually have to switch to Hookie to be able to build things. Yeah, so you have these little. You can not only build. You can not only build. You can not only build constructions, but also these little critters, and that is obviously slow. So yeah.
They can take your focus away from the main constructions in the level, and it gets in the way sometimes.
And you can see that he is kind of filling up this gauge. You might have already seen. You've definitely already seen that in different LEGO games, like LEGO Star Wars game, that gives you this True Jedi bonus. Yeah, there it's optional. Here it is completely mandatory, and it triggers this thing called Hero Mode. And Hero Mode is easily one of the worst things about this game, because it is increases your damage output. It allows you to trigger these golden constructions. And it plays this music, which at the start it's like really nice. It's good, empowering theme, but when you hear it for like the 10th, 100th, 1000th time while practicing, it really starts to become grating. In one word.
I don't know what he's talking about. I run this game all the time, and I love that theme. But I do hear from quite a few people that they have grown to dislike the hero mode theme, which is understandable.
Yeah. Alright, so here we have just this boat ride, and it's just the best to try and get hero mode again immediately. So yeah, killing these enemies is optimal. And here we do a little shot, because what you saw before is if you are too far away from the pieces when you kill something, or if they are considered inaccessible, then the game will just magnet all of them to you. So getting that shot well off the boat kind of does that.
We are already coming up on one of the more annoying tricks in the game.
Yeah, this is going to be... I guess the formal name is VZOC 1 pan cam skip or something. We call it bridge clip, or at least I do.
I've been calling it that more myself recently. You've gotten me with it.
Yeah, and then there will be the formal VZOC 1 GC free skip, but that's it, it's just skip.
I'm sorry, Nolpo, in advance. I'm not saying the usual line, so sorry to break your heart.
Hey. Second try, that is really good.
It's actually a lot better than normal, I'll say.
Yep.
Kind of funny.
Bridge skip, call it bridge skip. Right, and now we are coming up on chest skip.
Oh, helps if I grab the trigger. There we go.
Yeah. So here, Footless triggered for enemies to start spawning so that he can get hero mode. The story behind chest skip is actually like really nice. Basically, you will see this later, but Nulpo discovered debug information in the demo of one of the versions, and then found out how to enable it. And with that, he was just able to look at the collision data and find a route which would go around this this golden construction. So that allows you to do one less hero mode, which obviously saves a lot of time from having to grind it. So here we go. He's going to start setting up for chest skip. Gets on the chest.
Let's go. No harassment from
Oh.
chest skip.
Let's go.
go.
First try chest skip. That is really rare to see.
For me.
So, yeah.
Nolpo just gets every time.
Yeah. That was absolutely wonderful. So we see that we can trigger hero mode immediately, and otherwise Gurak would just spawn waves of enemies until you get it, basically. However, since we got chest skip, we have to be careful with the amount of pieces that we get, because we have to get 50,000 pieces at the end of this. He just says, "Mom, he's doing it wrong."
For the sake of the marathon, I'm definitely gonna go out of my way to be sure I have enough pieces.
And also, the reason why Footloose is wanting to stay close to Gurak here is that the amount of attacks between each time that he drops his shield is actually 100% fixed. So obviously it's faster to get him to do faster attacks. And the fastest attacks that he can do are like these slam and circling around when you're close to him. And otherwise he will just do these long-range shots, or worse, just a long-range beam attack that is insanely long. But I don't know if Gurak can actually do that, because I have never seen him do it.
It's actually dependent on save difficulty, based on how far you are throughout the game. Various enemies and stuff changes to try to simulate the game getting harder, but dang, that's actually faster than I was doing it in my practice runs.
Yeah.
Oh right, it doesn't split until after the fact. But later on, the Rakshi that we have to fight throughout the game will be doing that beam attack, and one of them is quite notorious for being very loud, as you will see in approximately hours.
And also here. Right, so now we are off to the shop. And in a casual run, you would probably just get the 50% discount immediately. It costs 150,000, but it's actually not optimal. So instead, we purchase the first upgrade for Nuparu's weapon, because Nuparu's weapon at level 1 is really, really not good. Yeah, very bad. Another chatter just goes, "Admin, he's doing it sideways," referring to chest skip.
I appreciate you reading off chat for me. I made a mistake. I do not have it pulled up, so you will have to inform me of what's going on.
Yeah, I'll be reading chat in that case.
Okay, appreciate that.
Right, so
Starting
we have now
here.
entered Smuggler's Cove and turn around to pick up Kongu, because his weapon is actually really good. We don't destroy these boulders in order to not spawn enemies, which is a little faster. Milkblade says he's waiting for the best boss in all of gaming. Don't worry, you will see them shortly, as will everyone else. So here we see that Footloose did a little shot before the cutscene to kind of do a little bit more damage. Same thing as he did in Baraka Bluff when he got off of a boat. Now just some optimized grinding for hero mode, and
I broke the boulder, so I can't go up for those pieces. That feels bad.
And here we go, we have hero mode. Now, now Footloose is probably, he's destroying this boulder so that he doesn't have to do that right here, and can just get here with Kongu, which is
Still got Fiku
faster.
spidered though.
Yep. And now we go again to another hero mode grinding section. Are you not entertained?
There are quite a few of these in this game, that's absolutely for sure, but
Yeah, here you can thankfully, as you can see, take a lot of advantage with the magnet collection mechanic. And so this is quite fast, especially with Nuparu's upgraded weapon. In the 100% category, which I do not recommend you run, by the way, you have to do this with the level 1 weapon, and it is very painful, as is the entire 100% run. But yeah.
Now is also probably a good time to mention that peace drops, excellent, between from enemies are RNG within a range. So runs can vary bit by bit based on that, among other things.
So yeah, this is a thing you can do where if you switch to another Toa while you are like building something or using an ability at a certain time, so for some it's frame perfect, for others it doesn't have to be, I think, then you do get to like move around while the ability is being used.
The distinction there is you can do it as a frame perfect trick if you switch at the same time you start building something, or you can just pick up a mask and just simply hold the build key and it will continue to go. But the conditions for that option are not always available, so having the one frame option available when needed is helpful.
You need about 49,000 pieces, I believe, for this.
One of the downsides to doing chest skip is it hurts our bottom line for pieces, so we'll have to do a bit of grinding before we move on here. Thankfully, it's usually pretty quick, especially with hero mode. Go ahead and grab 50,000 for safety if the game will let me.
Yeah, you did have 1,000 after buying the weapon, so...
That's really awkward. Also still really awkward. That's fine. I can put up with that.
Alpo just says a skill issue.
Really is a skill issue, though.
That is true.
One of the things that you'll see as well that I'm doing currently, you'll see it a bunch of times throughout the run. If you hold mouse 1 while building something, it locks the camera in place. It can help with lineups. Just generally helpful, because then you don't have to spin to get the camera back in place.
Okay. So yeah, I hope you enjoy the slapstick humor, because that's all you're getting.
Quite a bit of it.
Yeah. Right, so now we are back to the shop, and this time buying Kongu's weapon. In general, Kongu and Nuparu are the only ones that are going to be getting upgrades to their weapons. Just because their weapons are quite overpowered compared to the rest of the cast. And yeah, about to get into what some would consider the best boss in all of gaming. I guess soon we can get to explaining a trick. But now it is a tiny bit early, I think.
Yeah.
I'll let you go through this first. Right.
We actually shoot this enemy here as well to make sure that he's not blocking our path, because he can branch off to the right there. And
now, Basically, you saw before in the previous level that Kongu can kind of jump onto a jump pad, and when he does that, he kind of gets into this fixed spline. And if he like hits a wall while in this spline, it kind of moves it out of the way. And
There we go.
nice. Was that like second try
Third
or
try.
third try? Okay. And basically, what happens is that you kind of can get to a place where you're not meant to go to.
We
And
call this technique a wrong jump, and
yes.
it's used a couple times throughout the run.
Yeah. It is, and the files found in the unpacked versions of the GameCube version of the game suggest that the devs were aware of this glitch, and in fact, I believe it is patched in every version except for PC. So correct me if I'm wrong in that.
I'm not sure if it's actually patched or if it's just an issue with console moving slower than PC, which is a distinction we could probably mention as well. Your base movement speed is faster on PC than it is on console by a very slight margin.
There is also a skip for this golden construction, but for whatever reason, and this is like completely unknown, basically no one except for me can get it with any semblance of consistency, and even I have had issues with like actually getting it, so don't know if Flipless is gonna go for it. I know, apparently he doesn't.
Go up here for extra pieces, and a couple enemies spawn as a result. I didn't get the Borok. Fine. Couldn't need it. Just a safety thing. And something that I would like to mention as well, to kind of parallel us back to the other LEGO games, is you guys have your red bricks and... Actually, hold on. I'll explain this one in a minute. This is Rudaka. This is the hype boss that everybody's super excited to see.
Andre is already saying, drink some water, you thirsty boys.
Of course he is. Something about Bionicle fans and Rudaka, I don't get it. But either way, there is a RNG trick associated, or an RNG method associated with this boss fight that tends to give me a hard time. It's called
Basically,
one cycle. The second cycle, or the second phase of this fight, has a chance to be one cycled if you get good piece RNG, and it's proving to be pretty rare as of recent. So we'll see if I get it. Hopefully, I get some marathon luck. And Milkblade, I hope you are spamming RNG stuff right now. I need your blessing.
He is indeed giving us emotes.
Also, fun fact, with the default binding in this game, you can play this entire section with only the mouse. Because trying to turn the camera in this area, it actually just makes you strafe left and right, so it's kind of goofy. I'm definitely not getting one cycle here. This was actually a really poor set of RNG. Which feels bad, but I suppose it is what it is. The rates we've been getting it at this point, I don't think anybody's gotten a one cycle in 2 years. It almost feels impossible anymore.
Yes, the regular question here. Does this count as a missed trick or not? Because it's RNG basically.
I'm considering that based on world record, so I'll still donate for it though. Since I've missed a trick, actually I've missed two now. I missed bridge clip once.
4.
And this one. 4?
You missed the wrong jump twice.
Oh, right. So I've missed 4. Every time I miss a trick, I'm gonna donate $3. $3 is
them just in case.
$3 is a bit arbitrary, but when you consider the game's length, I could be spending millions. So, with that being with that in mind, we will continue playing here. I was explaining the canister thing there. We have canisters, and those are pretty similar to the rest of the
Mini
LEGO
kits.
games, mini kits, and gold and red bricks. So they don't do anything special other than unlock basically just character portraits, unlike in your guys' games, but nonetheless, that element did still make it through. And now's also probably a good time to mention this as well. The development story of this game was a bit troubled.
Basically, first they intended the game to be a first-person shooter. Then they basically got the news that any first-person shooter, no matter what, even with like this cartoonish level of violence, would be immediately given a mature rating by the ESRB, which would obviously be unacceptable for a LEGO game that's intended to be marketed to kids. So they had to change it last minute to a third-person shooter. This is very apparent with the way the third-person works, and they basically just made the model visible and applied some transformations to the camera to kind of create this hacked third-person view.
It's scuffed enough to the point that a lot of people don't even refer to it as third-person shooter. They just usually say over the top or over the shoulder shooter. It's it's a strange game, but
yeah, it's possible with the debug menu flags that Andre says that Bionicle Heroes the DS version is a first-person shooter. Yes, it is. Basically, with the debug menu flags that Nulpo discovered, there is a flag called No Toy, which just makes sure that the character doesn't render, and if you turn that on, I have found that it's actually quite a convincing illusion of a first-person perspective.
the only downside to doing this, though, at the moment, is that it does not let you interact with most of the constructions in the game.
Yeah.
So
here we see that we used the. Yeah, so here we see that we used the piece cache to just get most of the way to hero mode, and now.
Very cool, thank you.
Yeah, is Footloose was attempting a trick and missed it twice.
I don't even want to think about what my running total is. Also, are you gonna spawn enemies, please?
So, you can just get on this stage much earlier, and that is going to allow him to get hero mode sooner for this. Now he just has to wait for the construction to decide to show up, and then for it to decide that it can be interacted with. This takes some time, and I think it's random, I don't know.
It's based on where... So basically, what the construction is looking for to actually start moving up into the stage is Vizok being in the right spot. Also, shoutouts to a new piece of tech that we haven't shown yet, but I completely forgot that we were going to. Wall falls in this game. If you approach the new Paru walls at such angles, they will kick you off of them. And that's obviously beneficial because actually using them is pretty slow. So, alright. Where was I?
Yeah, you also saw that when he like collected the canister and got those pieces, you saw how quickly he got up to hero mode, so it was really good that he actually got that he got on the stage early.
If we had the Holly ability earlier, it would be faster to do it that way, but sticking this level any later in the run would compromise how fast it can go.
Now this is, again, just waiting for Vizok to drop his shield, and then shooting him, and then waiting again. There is also, you could say, a heartbreaking visual glitch that can happen in certain circumstances when you shoot at Vizok. It appears to take more than one heart off of him, but again, this is strictly visual, and there isn't really a way to make the damage stick, so to speak.
Also, this game is very forgiving with health drops today.
Yeah, that's... I saw you at 2.5, and I look away and you're at 5.
Yeah.
That's great.
Generally speaking, that's kind of rare. But what's more rare is the opportunity to get Golden Heart, which refills all of your health, regardless. Generally, like I said, the RNG is less favorable for those. Actually, I'm going to hold off on grabbing that. Save it for yeah, that's why.
Yeah.
Well, I guess since I'm here, if I can get him to do it, or not, it's fine. If you get him to kill you while he is doing his beam attack, it will cancel the beam attack, and that is an optimization that is available for use in any percent, but generally it takes longer for him to kill you than you'd spend, you know, fighting him normally. So we usually just don't do that.
Right.
See if I can preserve this. Probably not. Yeah, that's not looking good, Chief. Yep.
Well, at least you gave him the damage.
Hopefully.
Yeah,
On occasion, this
hopefully
one can have the visual bug as well. Usually it's the 4th heart, but I've noticed on some rare occasions it can happen on the 3rd as well.
Right.
Might be a running theme that Bionicle games just have poor development cycles. I don't know.
Yeah, that seems to be the case. I mean, I haven't, like, during my Legend of Mana run, I haven't talked the least about that because there was no time.
As BTG, the other Bionicle game not mentioned thus far, is debatably just as bad.
Yeah.
Well, not debatably, actually. But
And here we go, Vizak is now at half a heart, and so for the sake of context for what was about to happen, what is the actual rating that this game ended up getting? Is it everyone 10 and up?
E10, E10 plus on console. I don't think PC actually has a proper rating, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, so just keep in mind that this was deemed appropriate for an E10 and up rating. You just
Playing with
play
the
with
head of
your
our
head,
enemy.
like the serial killers we are.
ET Games had some weird ideas in mind for this game, that's for sure.
Yeah. But first-person shooting, no.
That was actually sort of favorable RNG. If you can get him to Spitfire, he actually just becomes a sitting duck. So that helps. Otherwise, if he's moving his legs and doing that slam attack that he did the first time, he's only actually able to be hit about 3 times if you're frame perfect.
So now we are going back to the shop to actually fully upgrade Nufaru's weapon. Any laser drill gang in chat?
And then moving on from here, we go to Desert Outpost.
Desert Outpost has also had its fair share of tricks recently discovered, which we can hopefully show off.
I just hope it doesn't bully me like it usually does.
Andre says BTG had a weird restriction too. They weren't allowed to have the Toa use weapons at all. They had to use quote-unquote tools. Yeah. In canon, they are actually called Toa tools.
I think that restriction also applies to Bionicle Heroes, at least in name.
Sword-shaped quote-unquote tool that shoots projectiles, and Nulp immediately goes, laser drill gang, let's go. Right, so here we are going a little bit out of our way to pick up Kongu, because it's going to be faster to just pick up Kongu.
That's unfortunate, but I will deal with it.
Yeah. So in general, what Footloose did here is you want to have Kongo and Nuparu, your two strongest characters, right next to each other, so you can switch to them immediately. But unfortunately, he scrolled one mask too far, so now he has like a Huki between them. There is a Pancam skip here, which he didn't get, but almost got it. But so, yeah. Again, if we had the Holly ability, then you could either get hero mode much faster here, or after getting hero mode, almost get it again much faster. But it's gonna be fine, this grind is relatively quick anyway. The skill issue is strong with this one, Alpo says.
This is a fact. Let it be known. There's also definitely more to it than just a skill issue, though.
Yeah. And
Heroes
now
has its
we
good
are.
days and its bad days.
Yep. Often used phrases, it's a TT game. When has it liked anyone?
Facts.
Now, we are going here, picking up Matoro and getting this little shot over here. Then over to our right, there's a Paracador, which is relatively often overlooked in the 100% run because it's just so inconspicuous.
We've actually gotten to the point that we have started mentioning it anytime we see it, just to be like, hey, that's right there. Don't forget it, forehead. Because it is very easy to walk right by, especially when doing optimal movement.
And now we are just, again, continuing to grind through these pieces and get hero mode. Thankfully, this is very quick with the laser drill. It makes insanely quick work of the enemies. And this does persist even as your difficulty slider goes up further. It will still work out fine. Then there is a very, very luck-based skip here that would allow you to preserve hero mode. I don't think Footloose is gonna go for it, but I guess I can explain while he grinds anyway. Basically, you might have seen that these constructions have these little animations. In the code, they're honest to God, they are called Jiggy. And the Jiggy on this golden construction is special in that it can displace you. So if you go into it while it is in like the correct frames of its animation, it can actually like, push you through and clip you through it. And he goes right once.
Yeah, no.
Second
Twice.
time, yeah.
I'll go ahead and count that one though. Just because that one's more consistent than one cycle.
Andre says laser crossbow gang for life. Don't worry, the laser crossbow will be purchased soon.
Straight
Here
after
it's
this
more
level, actually.
Yeah, here it is more optimal to actually get on the cart and then start killing the enemies because then the pieces count as inaccessible, so they magnet towards you.
Dying, as always, is not a consequence in a TT game, or TT game's entry, but it is mildly inconvenient in certain spots.
You do seem to be getting hearts quite well, but I don't understand why you use Nuparu here instead of Matoro.
Because I am on rails. And I'm not going to have enough for hero mode either way.
Alpo says to just stay away from the laser axe. True. Right, now here Footloose is also going to demonstrate another trick. So you saw before that we could get closer to Gurak and he did like attacks that were faster. And you saw then that we could use a glitch to get on stage with Vizok and get hero mode faster. Now here we are going to kind of combine this. Usually this stage is entirely encompassed by these walls that would prevent you from getting inside, but then I think it was Nalpo who discovered the glitch that would allow you to actually get on stage and speed up the fight dramatically.
But as a result of his tool, we owe
Right.
Nalpo so much.
Yes. If we could get a thank you Nalpo in the chat, that would be really awesome.
Especially since we couldn't say the other obligatory.
Yes.
I said it in my heart, and you know it.
Can I read a quick donation?
Go ahead.
Absolutely.
We have $10 from Andre that says, this donation was provided by the Laser Crossbow Gang.
Go Laser Crossbow Gang.
Thank you for the
Let's go.
donation.
Go
Alright, so here we go. Footless is going to attempt the trick and gets it first try. Wonderful.
Marathon luck.
The tally will not be increased this time.
Thank God. I have definitely lost runs just because I have to attempt that like 60 times. It is very, very inconsistent. We need to go back to the drawing board and find a good way to actually do it.
It would actually be a little bit more optimal to do it after this hero mode, because now we have lost the magnet collections on all of these enemies, so we have to just go back to the Dark Ages of actually picking them up. But ultimately it is, as Footloose said, really inconsistent to get on a whim, so it's considered more optimal to just go for it anytime you have a chance. And now we can see that Vorak has actually come out, and if you look back at how Gurak was, how tall he was, you will see that Vorak is actually significantly shorter. This is presumably because you were never meant to see him from this close up, so it's kind of like an illusion.
It's definitely a little goofy.
Yeah.
I need to.
It is weird, but it wouldn't be a...
mask.
Yep, of course. We need to make heroes canon.
Obligatory rest in pieces to my boy Matoro. May he rest in peace.
Obligatory 07.
07 best arc.
Right, and now it is again just a matter of waiting and
Sacrificing
soon.
Toa.
Yep.
The greater
When you
good
die, you
user.
lose like about 5,000 pieces, but that's only really really a big detriment if you're really tight on pieces. Like, for instance, if you do Paraka Bluff first level and you did chest skip, then you really shouldn't die. And here we go, we have gotten the head of Varakshi. And now we are treated to another cutscene.
Where Redak has no leg. Thank you for fixing that. Appreciate it. Right. And immediately out of getting back into the hub, we are going to turn around and go grab Kongu's laser crossbow.
Laser crossbow gang. Here we go, and just, yep.
Ooh. Very nice. Then from here we jump straight into flooded lowlands. This level is actually pretty quick in the beginning,
Yeah.
so...
It has quite a lot of good hero mode preservation tricks, so it's rather it has one like right at the beginning.
We actually skip a GC right at the very start.
Yep.
And then just run through the entire level with hero mode pretty much until you get to just before the boss fight. Alright.
Of course, immediately switching to Kongu, because he is actually the fastest character of all the Toa, tied with Jollar and the Paraka that you unlock after you beat them. Then after that you have Holly, I think, on her own, and then Nuparu, Huki, and Matoro all tied for the slowest. Is that correct?
That is accurate.
Yeah.
I think there are a couple discrepancies with strafe speed, but they're mostly irrelevant to this kind of situation because it's like reverse, or it's like backing up strafe speed. It's weird.
And here we see that we immediately get this skip. It is a very consistent skip. And now we can just move on in a way that the game really didn't intend for us to still have hero mode at this time, so it's insanely easy.
This Borak
We also-
always gets me every time.
We also barely have to worry about pieces, so
I also failed the minor optimization there, but not the end of the world, thankfully.
and here we go. We are triggering this golden construction, and eventually going to climb up this wall with no problem.
There is a theoretically possible skip here that needs some work put into it. If you approach that wall at the right angle or with enough speed, Nuparu will actually continue to climb over the wall, and that's beneficial if we can get it to work, because you can skip this entire indoor section. And anything that skips anything in this game is very, very helpful for the run, because it's mostly just a very linear path to the end of the level for the most part. Oh. I think you can't see that. I'm definitely missed a split on my end. Very
Here we
quick.
go. Getting hero mode again. Yeah. Picking up a few stray pieces, and soon going to go into the fight with Kura.
And right here, we jump behind the wall here. That's normally not an option to be able to be closer to the enemies, because the spawns, especially on the first cycle, they're pretty poor. And the enemies tend to take their time getting out from behind there. The downside to this is we do exchange our ability to have magnet pieces, but it's overall faster.
Nice Fighter 113 says, so no jump button? Yeah,
No.
there is jump button. There isn't one.
We remain grounded unless the game says so, unfortunately.
Yeah, again, this is like one of the first Lego games that TT Games has made, and it shows.
That was a nice flick. There's a lot of downtime in a run like this. That's why the community spends a lot of time looking to reduce said downtime. Of course, I got him to walk. He's gonna walk the whole way too. No.
Yeah, so basically, it's basically random if Kurak actually walks or not, and how much he walks. So, yeah, sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't. And here you can also see the size difference that I mentioned earlier. You can compare this and see that he's much taller compared to Borak, the boss of the previous level that we fought.
And to my knowledge, Voparak, I think was the name.
Which boss?
Desert One's Roxy. I can never remember that one's name.
That's Vorak. That's the one that we
Vorak.
fought.
Is the only one, as far as I know, that has this issue. But it's not actually a problem. It's just a goofy little
Yeah.
inconsistency with the rest of the game, and there's quite a lot of those. The game is as inconsistent as it is consistent, so.
here we go. We have completed yet another level. And so after this cutscene, I think we're moving on directly to the next one.
Yes, we head to Mountain Path, and
Right.
Mountain Path, both Mountain Path and Blizzard Peaks, which will be the two next levels, also have an interesting development story. If any of you have seen the Game Hut video on the first-person build of Heroes, you will notice quite a few details.
Yep.
Because these two levels were actually combined at one point in development. As for why they decided to scale it back, I'm not really sure, unless it was just a need for more content, or if it was a game engine issue, but the idea lives on, sort of, in every level, actually. You can see the end of the previous level in the beginning of the next, and the other way around. Or the end of each level, you can see the beginning of the next.
I never noticed that. That's actually very interesting.
Small little tidbit. Normally you don't turn around and look at the back, or look at the area that is right behind you when you spawn, so understandable. It's one of those blink and you'll miss it kind of details, especially in a speedrunning setting for this game.
Go. So now we just have to grab more pieces and get hero mode. And you saw before when he picked up the masks, he carefully scrolled so that he can keep Nuparu and Kongu right next to each other.
This Vizorak is off its rocker. Normally that one spawns up in the cove just or to my left there, but he decided he had other plans today, I guess. I don't know how
As
this game
Nolpo
goes.
says, this game is consistent at being inconsistent.
It's definitely a better way to say what I said earlier, for sure. Picking that mask up isn't necessary, it just keeps it out of the way in a section that we come across later that can potentially foil mask management. I will mention it briefly when we get there. Being blocked by a Vizorak that just clipped through that door. Feels good.
Yeah, now there is like a massive amount of Vizorak that have spawned here, but still no match for the laser drill. So it is really the best choice to for large groups of enemies. And then the laser crossbow, as you can see, it does really good damage, high rate of fire, and even relatively good range. Here we immediately just destroy the door and can open it. Now we open up this next one. Now we get to
That's unfortunate.
the
Just shy of hero mode there.
ouch. So now we get to this place where basically an infinite wave of enemies will spawn until you get hero mode, and then you get to use hero mode. And over there is the orb that we have to collect. In case you haven't noticed the pattern, the first level of every world has a Rakshi that you need to fight, then in the second one it is always this orb that you have to pick up, and in the third one it's some miscellaneous boss, and in the fourth one it is the Paraka itself.
Oddly
And,
enough, the game actually classifies them all as Dark Hunters, but I do not believe Axon is a Dark Hunter.
Axon is not a Dark Hunter. Canonically, he is a member of the Order of Maranui.
That's kind of what I thought.
Rudaka might be a Dark Hunter. I'm unsure at this point. I don't think she is.
Somebody
Kreka
well
and
versed in
Adiki.
lore is probably going off in chat right about now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm relatively well versed in lore myself. Sidorak most definitely isn't. Kreka and Nadiki are. Udaka isn't, I think. Axon isn't. Who am I missing? Brutaka also isn't. Rudaka is, but works on her own agenda. Thank you, Milkblade.
Of course Milkblade would know that.
Though I don't know about Sidorak, but otherwise, yeah. I think the fact that the game refers to both as Dark Hunters and the fact that Mountain Pest is, well, Mountain, to me that kind of points to the fact that Fox level was probably one of, if not the first, to be developed. Sidorak was but left/died. Well, I mean, the Paraka were also all Dark Hunters. Paraka is a Dark Hunter? I no. He was a member of the Order of Maranui before he betrayed the Order of Maranui, and then he joined back.
No, yeah, I think Brutaka was just evil during that period.
Yeah, during this period he was evil, and then during all the other ones he just wasn't, I guess.
He just hated people, and that was that.
Anyway, we have now gone into Blizzard Peaks.
Cool.
And yeah.
I am getting trolled by Borak shields, because, of course. Also, aren't Borak not supposed to all have shields? Specifically, like, tied to a Chrono, right?
I have no idea about Chrono powers.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, there is also a golden contraction skip in this room. We will see if Footloose is gonna go for it.
I'm gonna grab a little bit more pieces wise. It's just a nice little and first try.
Let's go, first try.
Also, the eagle-eyed might have noticed there, the hero meter actually decreases there. Because the level has specific areas it wants you to be at, specific piece counts to get hero mode. And we passed one of those triggers just there, going up the wall. It's quite goofy, and in fact, if you hit it in the wrong spot and are not accounting for it, it can really mess with things.
And now we are just going through this onto another riding segment, where this time we are just going to be on this cart. Whatever it is supposed to be.
Fun fact, the mountain, or the FPS level that has been mentioned a couple times, has a straight rip of this section of the level, all the way through till basically the end, and then the end cave is a little different. Should be able to get hero mode pretty quick here.
Yeah, I think just a few more shots and then you got it.
As long as I get it before I enter Nadiki pretty quickly, it should be okay. Because there is a trick that we do there as well.
Yeah, I mean, if there is a lot of enemies before that, so you can just do an Uparu shot and most likely get it. Almost got it. There we go.
Hero. Oh, okay. I really should have closed volume mixer before this run started. I just scrolled. It's another known issue with this game when running with DXWND. It does not hook properly, or it does not bind the mouse properly to the game window. So As soon as I get this
Here we
trick,
go.
I will tab
Did
out
this,
briefly.
Yeah, so we did this little trick, which you will see soon in the cutscene. You can see that while Nidiki is doing his little intro, the golden construction is already flying out, ready to just smack him immediately, which it will probably do about now. There we go. So this saves a little bit of time, saves you from having to grind hero mode like this, and now you have to actually do that. So yeah, this is in previous boss fights you would like get hero mode a few times and wait, and then you would have like a segment where you have to wait for them to lower their shield, and then you get to use hero mode. In this one, this is not the case. You only just use hero mode
Until the final hit, and then you do
Yeah,
actually inflict damage personally.
Yep.
Very weird boss fight. Definitely not in my top 10.
Yeah. You also have to like actually physically shoot Nidiki for him to start spawning more enemies, which was very irritating for me when I ran this for the first time. Oh, we have hero mode again.
Another thing that has to be worried about during this fight is the opportunity for the Vizirac to fly off the stage when you shoot them. Of course, now that talking about it, it didn't happen, so I'll take that. If they fall off the stage, you can't pick those pieces up. It makes the fight last a little bit longer every time it happens, so... There's another really painful spot to just lose time because the game told you to.
There we go. So now we just have to shoot him once, and that'll be it. This is actually one of the relatively few levels that don't have a cutscene at the end. So we see that we go from picking up the head directly into the scoreboard or end screen right here. That's a nice little change of pace after all the slapstick.
From here, we
Now we
immediately
go-
turn around and go back to the shop. Or
Yeah.
grabbing Kongu's Gust. Maru's Excavate ability.
I think you could have just gotten the discount on one of those, and it would have worked.
Extra button press, friend.
I guess so. And with that, we move on to Fox Grotto.
There is a potential that we will get
Yeah.
to when we get to Final Fate. Might that really funny happen. I'm all
The
happy if it does.
The Reaper of Memes asks, "Is this the only game where you can't skip cutscenes in free play?" This is a very early LEGO game, and I will say the concept of free play versus story doesn't even exist in this game.
Yeah, we don't have cheats. Period.
Yeah.
So that kind of explains that too.
This is really like, in terms of the other LEGO games, this is absolutely archaic. Here we go, we finally got hero mode, so we have to wait for Puck to jump up, and then we get to hit the first one of these thingies that he's standing on with the golden construction.
The pedestals.
Yeah.
That's what actually damage.
Yeah. Nulpo is really good at explaining here. The only way you can skip cutscenes is by removing them or by using the debug menu and then also removing them, so...
I looked down there to pokes the game into spawning the enemies faster. They don't spawn. Or if you're looking at areas.
So now we see that we are destroying the crystals here to get a tiny bit more pieces during the downtime, hoping that we can actually.
I dare you. Well, I really only needed that single goal. That's unfortunate.
So, I guess we can talk a little bit more about what Footloose was daring Falk to do. There's a very elusive trick that is maybe potentially possible, and it involves Falk jumping over to the other side, to our side of the arena, which is something that he usually cannot do. And once he does that, the nav mesh, the thing that says kind of dictates how he's supposed to navigate around the stage, malfunctions, and it makes him just walk off from where he falls out of bounds and unloads the game, and the game just doesn't really know what to do, so it just decides that he is dead and gives us the head for to collect.
There is a very aptly named, or aptly placed name for that skip. We will refrain from using it. Probably not.
Yes.
I got baited by the fake the fake activation every time.
The Reproof memes asked, "Can't Falk fall into the Protodermis and die instantly here?"
Yes,
yeah, that's
that is
basically what he would do.
That is the trick that we were describing there.
Yeah. Investigate later.
Watching him like a hawk every time he goes to that side of the stage. Because this is the side of the stage that it will happen on. It is going to happen. If he jumps on the side, the nav mesh actually works. Don't get the opportunity for it to happen, but go ahead and throw away.
Yeah. You might have also seen that Footloose activated the excavation ability relatively late compared to when it was available, which is from the start of the level. And this was in order to because the more golden constructions you activate, the less frequently he spawns enemies, and he spawns like the higher health enemies more often, like Vaki. So it's faster to just get this excavation ability during a dry spell while he's not spawning enemies frequently. And also now you see that the hero mode is actually filling up very slowly. This is because you're not supposed to get hero mode anymore. And if he were to get hero mode, the game would literally soft lock. So something that you might need to be careful with in certain levels, but in this one it's not a problem. See, clock is already at 1 heart.
Unless you go out of your way to not hit the enemy in the boss fight, you very deliberate action to get set off block. Okay, you baited me with that crouch there, thought. Brilliant. Last. Refill my health for the Bionicle fight.
And here we go. Going to do the same thing we did with Vizok. So pick up the head and then Vizon steals it from us and we have to fight him. Kongu is always the most optimal, which leads to certain strategic decisions in other Karaka areas where you cannot lose Kongu, or massive time losses if you do.
Yeah, because actually, quite a few of the Toa, other than Kongu, just straight up cannot hit Fenrak, and then other times it's just super. For example, Yuki is completely this Bizon and Fenrak.
Now we are moving back to Redak and going into Bleak Refinery.
Now we're jumping into the levels that have been relatively untouched by our trick finders. There aren't a whole lot of special trick levels that kind of level and good RNG. Optimal movement really pays a big, does a lot of favors level. I guess I take that back. There is one trick right here that has been playfully named Footloose Hip. Basically just moving through a cutscene trigger fast enough at all to skip the pancake. So we go into this area here to collect pieces a little quicker. This is why we pick up the Gust and Fragment. Generally
Excavate ability. The Fragment is Huki's.
They generally provide quite a bit every time you open them, so it's beneficial. Leads the run up quite a bit, opposed to not doing. This is where...
In contrast, the other abilities, think otherwise Holly's Drench ability and Jowler's Torch ability would also be viable, and in fact we will get at least Holly's Drench ability later.
Do not like.
This is a bit of bad RNG, but not really much you can do about it. There we go, finally. So, yeah, again, just...
Right.
Yep. Person is mentioning the Hookie 69 category, which Footloose has made.
There's a bit of a meme, but we can cover it.
Yeah.
The HX69 speedrun category, actually, Bionicle Heroes, but what if we put an insane move?
Yeah.
Which apparently is something this game needs desperately. Because the theoretical time saves are so big, once we actually understand what they are, that you could just bring 7 or 8 rockets and getting hero mode once. Level.
Yep.
It only has one run, as it is entirely new category and basically round, but
Yeah.
I would estimate a good spot for it would be up about an hour, if not more.
Yeah. The very unfortunate thing about these, about the fact that you're shooting so many rockets, is that any slight angle deviation or position deviation will send you out of bounds. And this game is never really equipped to deal with that. The very confident developers at DT Games just assumed you would never go out of bounds. So there is no kill plane below the floor. You don't have any fail-safes to send you back. Really, the only thing you can do is to quit out of the level and restart it, and thereby watch all the cutscenes all over again. Which I believe is one massive detriment, which prevents the HX69 category from truly having its potential unlocked.
I will
Because you
probably
just know.
remove next build.
Yeah. You
There's a
just
couple-
know that any slight mistake will just remove 5 minutes plus of your progress.
The funny thing is HX69 was developed in a very, very archaic time for Bionicle Heroes modding, so we know quite a bit more now than we did when it actually came out. So there will be quite a few things available version for not free.
Andre is saying he must have lime green ankle joints because his foot is loose.
Or any piece made after 2008.
True that.
Feels bad. End of that level. One of the goofier cutscenes, noticed with the golden contraction, we actually broke all of these back in the cutscene just here. I don't know if this is supposed to be a past tense playing of the cutscene or what, but this is the unsolved mystery. Now, I can mention technically complete percent. I know this was a cut donations incentive to have a technically complete percent run included instead of the glitch showcase, but that's technically an end to the run. It's a meme where if you collect the correct canisters level, you do get the Mask of Life and the Matanui. Technically, you could save Matanui here, but it can also be achieved a lot quicker when actually properly routed. Only need to complete 6 levels. Mine would be about 2 to 30, based on IL time.
Now, shoutouts to how Axon is canonically actually a good guy, as we have said before.
Yes, this is definitely a very controversial boss fight indeed.
Yeah, though I have also looked through all of the different characters that they could have used, and it is really just the case that they ran out of characters to put as villains. I guess potentially they could have used someone like Sentrach or Voporak, but those are also not very well known to the average viewer and their combiner models too, so.
Stop bouncing. Thank you. Ask. Grab it later. Unfortunately, the downside to the redact levels, they are just optimal later. Part.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot special goes on here. This is usually where we begin to really start goofing off and having a good time in chat. Fortunately, I goofed up pretty seriously by not pulling up chat prior to starting.
I mean, I will read chat for you if anyone has like any questions about the game or about the run or about the runner or anything like that. Just feel free to ask, and I am here to. We are both here to just answer and yeah, entertain you.
The game does get good again, tricks-wise, directly after this.
Yes. I guess in the meantime, previously after Fog 3 we did Fog 4, so we completed all of Fog's Mountain, and you might think that, oh, you got the Wallfall, great. You might think that it would be best if we also did Redac immediately after this, but that is actually not true, because in the final level here where you fight Redac, you don't actually get hero mode at all, which means that the difficulty of the game afterwards drastically increases. And if we did that here, it would be a time loss on the scale of half an hour or more. I don't know exactly.
That's
how much
close.
it would be.
It affects the game's difficulty slider in just enough that it actually extends by a pretty significant. Sticking it at the end is the opposite.
Right, and now we are just going to have to kill some of these enemies, and now we are in hero mode.
Kill anything.
Yeah, and this fight was pretty poorly designed. So we can literally just camp in front of Axon and wait for him to lower his shield. And this will continue until he's like at half health when the golden construction will finally show up.
Another little thing we can do as well is if we block him from actually getting on his path, he won't jump up, which actually takes a little bit longer to do. And if we get super lucky, we can also prevent him from doing the little wave motion there.
Isn't there a soft lock here where you get stuck outside of the arena?
I don't know about stuck outside of the arena, but if you wait too long to use the hero mode after the golden fraction is given to you, the game will soft lock, or the level will soft lock. Axon will drop his shield, and then you would just have to. I've learned this the hard way. Really know this. I don't think anybody did. That it was going to finish. I've lost many a run. Lack of. Shoutouts to the fact that speedrunners are cheesing the most interactive fight in the game. Well, one of the most active fights. Depends on how you view Redact. Definitely not the intended way to do it. And this way. Violated the law. We're a bad guy for some. Can't move.
Also, I think it can be mentioned here that pushing enemies is for whatever reason easier on console than on PC, but I don't know if this is a platform difference or an input method difference.
It's actually a difference in the way the auto aim is handled.
Right.
There is no hard lock onto anybody on the PC version, but if you hold the strafe button, it will hard lock the laser eyes in the front of my head here to whatever you're targeting, and you will circle around it like a pivoting motion. But PC doesn't have that. A lot less restricted by the auto aim. At the moment, it's not really. It would be theoretically faster, but at the moment, we don't know of any tricks that would actually allow to attempt. That would make console easier. So. All right, and this is the cutscene that gives us the golden construction that truly ends the monotony.
Yep.
Out of its spawn radius. That. Now proceed to have a panic attack as he rushes you and slams that axe on the.
Indeed. And we have found out the hard way that he can actually literally just one-shot you when you do that, when that happens.
This is another goofy moment where we're cheesing the fight. We just round this pillar several times in hopes of confusing the AI to the point to where they just drop their shield. And we have it. There we go. He drops it once, drops it again really quickly. Back to ring around the rosy. The safety strat. I'm not trying to scream on stream today. I apologize. And unfortunately, this is the only boss fight in the game that does not set your position after you do the second and final hit. Casually.
And I believe that this level also doesn't have a cutscene afterwards, so.
None of the Dark Hunter boss levels do.
Huh. Okay. I must have misremembered then.
Right. Where we get into the really fun part of the game.
Yeah.
You guys can't see my splits, but I'm in pain right now. We are going
So-
to Avex.
Yeah, Avax levels, they all have some kind of tricks that are really difficult, really inconsistent in some places. This one has a relatively easy golden construction skip, or I guess maybe easy for Footloose, I don't know. So we will see if he can get it. Yeah, otherwise. And the other two levels, they have difficult, very difficult tricks, which we will get to when we get to them. So let's see if Footloose attempts this, which, I mean, I don't see why not, considering this is a marathon after all.
I don't think this one has a proper name, but I
Yeah, this
liken
is just-
it pretty similarly to air strafing in the Source games. Jumping way too early for falling off, rather. I shouldn't jump. Cheating. But anyway, that was the trick. This is a really really satisfying trick to pull off. Followed immediately by one of the second most inconsistent wall falls in the game, which I can get first try. Yes.
Wonderful.
I'm really trying to donate today, I guess. Going for all the tricks. It is for charity though, so don't mind.
Well, I mean, you are hitting them quite consistently, so...
Maybe I should stop doing them instantly. Obligatory no don't in chat. I can see it now.
Yeah, this level in general also has a quite confusing layout, especially if you like want to go for 100% for whatever reason.
Yeah, it's not an easy level, layout-wise. On your first playthrough, it gets very confusing, especially with the mini-map not being as great as it probably could be.
9-hour runs? Actually, they are 8-hour runs at this point.
Somebody mentioned 100%. Why would you do it?
Yep.
This is one of those fights that has some broken audio issues. It very often overloads the sound buffer engine. And
It can also overload the particle buffer, which means that if you, for instance, shoot your weapon as Kongu while Panrak is doing the beam attack, yeah, like you saw right there, you saw that it just didn't create any particles at all, but the shot did still go through and did damage.
I actually recently figured this one out the other day. You can actually run against this edge here if he if he chooses to go to that side. Slam. Nice optimization. The hitbox is very simple. Right in front of him. So strafing just to the side at the right time. All you have to do to avoid them.
That Panrak is already going to die, and there we go. And that would be Decrepit Dungeons completed.
Shoutouts to, by the way, it's notable for a few reasons.
Yes.
The major trick is one, but the next is the fact that it has the longest cutscene in the game, or in the any percent run, because that technically doesn't count the boss cutscenes at the end.
Yeah, this cutscene here is exactly 52 seconds in length, and as such, it has kind of since it is notable for being the longest cutscene, that length has kind of become a meme in the Bionicle hero speedrunning community. So yeah, I guess enjoy.
Back and enjoy the antics.
Yep.
This also has the potential outside of this cutscene to be one of the hypest levels in the game. We can go ahead and start explaining premature a little early because it is quite the complex setup for.
So basically, what Footless is going to want to do it. The ending is going to be similar to the second level in Fox World, and as such, there is this little shutter effect that it does, where the camera kind of pinches close and pinches itself closed, and that's basically it. Here he's gonna attempt the wrong jump. Let's go, getting it first try.
That's only faster if you do it first try, so it's really good
Yeah.
to be able to do it. It's more or less just a swag strat. It saves a couple seconds.
Right. So what I wanted to say here is there's this like little shutter effect that the camera that is done, and what you can do is on the frame that it's completely closed, if you activate hero mode, the game kind of freaks out. So the cutscene activates, the construction activates, but you don't actually lose hero mode. You preserve it. Hence, the trick is called hero mode preservation. And if you manage to do that, you save like over a minute, I think. I don't remember exactly.
And the grind is also a little strange as well. The amount of enemies that it spawns and the frequency at which they spawn makes the grind a little longer than what is usual. The average grind is probably about 45 seconds, about 55 or so, if done well. But this one ends up, as mentioning there, saving about a minute.
Right.
So, is abnormal. This area has a spawn cap issue. Well, but not killed this Vizorak up here. It holds up the spawns. The rest of the guys in the level. So now that I've done that, start spawning quite a bit more. I guess I should also mention that figure is for ILs. It's unknown how much they have relative to the any percent route. So it would probably be up to 2. It's because of the difficulty scaling. The earliest you can do this level is the 3rd from the start, so doing that helps out quite a bit in lowering count requirement. I'll go ahead and bypass that excavation ability there. And save it for after the fight. Or after this grind section, rather, fight.
Yeah, that just helps get the build up to the next hero mode much faster. Here, we activate hero mode, and while it is activating, we move back, and then we have to wait for it to actually disappear.
A nice little visual cue there. I just that's amazing. When the lasers bob up and down second time, that is pretty easily that it's time to hit Q or switch to a key. Give that a go. Ideally, I need to get as close to hero mode.
Of course, yeah.
Next.
Yep, so here we are about to get into the hero mode preservation.
This is only a one attempt trick, so if I mess it up,
Yeah.
I don't get it. If I get it, I save. Not a crash hazard. Marathon saves.
Right, are we gonna get it?
There we go. Alright, first part achieved. You skip the cutscene there with the Huki rocket, and then you do... That might be the one. I
Is
like
it
the way
the
that
one?
looks. I like the way that one looks. We got it. That's pretty hype. Aw, man. I was a frame late. Stings.
Indeed.
It also doesn't help that this level actually stacks your masks, or your important masks, by default backwards in a muscle memory, so it also extends the time it takes because of that. Had we done the trick, it would have let us activate the action immediately, pretty much.
Yeah, so it would save about as much time as it takes to grind the hero mode.
Ladies and gentlemen, second longest gun. Level has both of them. I should mention these are both the cutscenes. That if the runner needs to get up and do something, that could go do it during these cutscenes. Shoutouts to Mark Sunshine. 6-minute opening segment. Very romantic like that, thankfully. From here, we move on and grab Holly and Joller's elemental.
I think if you grabbed the 50% discount first, you could get all of them, which is what I do in my runs, but Footloose knows that is not optimal, so...
Matoro and Hyuki, on average, do not give out enough. While, we generally... That's embarrassing. Also, shoutouts to the use of bad words on stream. I told myself if I was going to do that, I was going to make it up to the staff. For every swear word I use, I'm going to donate $20. So that's one. My running total's got to be getting really high for money that I'm donating to Charity tonight, so
Surprisingly, your total for missed tricks is actually quite low. It's far lower than what I was expecting.
well, in that case, it's definitely far lower than what I was expecting.
I don't know. I might have to like. I don't know if I should like watch the VOD back and then tell you. Because it could be that I missed a few.
But anyway, optimal movement into this section, which we are standing back away from this door and the enemy spawns to get magnet pieces as per usual. Comes in handy quite a bit. And you don't have to run around and pick up the I think the benchmark I am looking to go through the door is about 7. It's definitely 30, right? Using my IL numbers with any percent numbers. Pressing A there to counter the back push, and I apologize in advance to anybody who has problems that can get a little bright sometimes. It did that time, thankfully. But on occasion, it's really aggressive the way it jitters the screen around, so. But anyway, we are here at the second hero mode preservation.
Alright. And
I will be able to tell by the
are we getting
wing.
it?
That one might be it. If we get it, this leads directly into another trick.
That's another one added to the tally.
Heroes you've forsaken. At least it's for a good cause. So, the backup strat here. I will go ahead and show both of those in the glitch showcase if that's something chat wants.
Right, so yeah, now we're just trying to get hero mode before the fight starts in order to be able to perform a trick known as Fast Kreka. There we go. So yeah, now Footloose is going to
First,
Go
start
in.
by activating the Huki thing as soon as you get on the lift. Don't know what it is, but if you press it, it generally works. And then mash hero mode to activate here.
yeah. The weird thing is that the audio seems to play at an insanely increased speed, so the rest of the cutscene it just becomes silent. And now, yeah, now we have to grind out hero mode once more. But then, once that happens, we can just do a chain of hero mode preservations.
Spawn cycles are off. Weird. I hope I got it. I'm not faithful. Oh, okay, I did.
All right, that's good. That's good.
That
Yeah,
would
now
have
we
been
see
really
that.
embarrassing to miss, because this one's really free.
Yep.
The way this run is going, I definitely have. One more point of damage. Cutscene. Really a missed opportunity to call this trick movie night. We had it discovered even before Ocarina of Time did as well. Had their movie night discovered.
Right. Well, now we are just out of the really difficult sections of AVAC. Again, there is a reroute that might be needed for the record in the future.
When
Which
those tricks
would,
become required to get a world record in this game, we'll eventually end up moving. Have a relatively free-flowing any percent compared to some other LEGO games.
Yeah, exactly.
This is the AVAC fight. This is one of those ones that can be really scary if you lose Bongu, as you not get back. Bubble. So the designated sacrifice Toa is going to be new pop. Also another boss fight that can do a ridiculous amount of damage in no time. Oh. So does.
Yeah, I remember in my runs, it would not be uncommon to literally just last 10 seconds as Nutaru and then immediately die. Basically, but faster. Don't fall under the map when making the ramp. Wait, that's when getting the canisters, never mind. Yeah, thankfully we don't have to get any of the canisters here. Though it is useful to get some of the piece fishes because it, well, gives us more pieces, gets us closer to hero mode.
Got the unfortunate orange here where fights at us. Enemies. Have a couple buffer. Make sure we're keeping a relatively okay. Hitting me.
Yeah, now we just have to wait for Avak to get into position again. This is generally a theme with a lot of bosses, and we will see it a few times. Sometimes very annoyingly, where you really just have to wait for the boss to decide, okay, I want to get hit now.
I am playing with fire over here. Standing out in broad daylight with Kongu out.
Yeah.
boy, this is looking a little dangerous.
You're already standing at the thank you. Only you knew, Abak. How much pain you caused me. I get a golden heart? I did. We didn't see it.
Nice.
But, we did get a golden heart. I think I've gotten a total of 6 of them in my entire Heroes running career, so that should demonstrate just how rare they are. Granted, I am pretty sure the game doesn't like me 9 times out of 10. So.
I mean, as I say, it is a TT game. Does it like anyone?
The RNG engine does. Or the RNG stuff does. Generally as unfair.
Another one.
Wait, really?
I think that was. I think it was.
Actually, absurdly rare. Okay. So, that's a funny where enemies in this level can damage the boss. One of the few places in the game that can actually be done and not cost you a cycle. Any other place, if a Borok or a Vizirac shoots the boss that you have, or that you're facing, it will immediately shut it. That was good RNG.
Yeah, that was absolutely a great boss fight. So here is why you really should keep Kongu if you want your Fenrak fights to be fast.
To clarify there, the Avak fight was not great, but the V-Zone and Fenrak. Actually, quick enough here to have the auto-save symbol, so in the next levels cutscene, kind of goof. Thankfully doesn't have any adverse effect. This level's pretty quick. So, getting to the bosses.
Yeah, this level right here, it has 2 golden construction skips back to back, and then immediately afterwards has a peace cache that allows you to just get up to hero mode pretty much immediately.
I'm playing on the higher difficulty. Safe out of the way of the Borok here. I still didn't get it. He really went out of his way to get me this time. That's the first GC skip. The level. I know, super quick, right? A nice little strafe on geometry. Coming out of this cutscene, we grab Nuparu and do it again.
Right.
And this hand giving me trouble. But
One, that's 2
tries.
of them. Yep.
For 2 failed attempts, 3 tries. Another wall fall. Keep that section
That's
out.
great.
Mild optimized. this section to grab a couple extra into the boss fight. Not well, but
Similarly to Redac, there's also a glitch where you can get on the stage early with this one too.
opposing Kupak or Tupac, everybody.
Though here the difference is that you will eventually also be able to get on stage normally. So I don't know if Footloose is gonna go for this.
As well.
Oh, he just gets
Very
it.
easy.
Nice. Yeah.
The only downside to doing this is you lose magnitude, but this level it almost doesn't time to keep magnitude spawn.
Right.
Shout out to another audio buffer.
We're about to get hero mode here, and just going to quickly deal some damage. Funny thing here is that this hero mode, this golden construction,
And actually
Deals.
just slingshot you into Skybox. You are not careful to say that.
not just that. What I meant was that it does half the Rakshi's health and damage, which is also the same as what the one in the first level in Raka Bluff does. And another interesting thing is that the Jawler levels, the Hakan levels, are first in the scoreboard, and Jawler is first in all the different counts. So to me, this implies that in early development, what might have been is that the devs might have intended Jawler's levels to be the first ones that, or the Hakan levels to be the first ones that you complete instead of the Vizok levels. But I don't know what what Footloose thinks about that.
My guess would be that it's probably a change that got made around FPS model. Because all of the versions of the demo have and all by Raka Bluff is the
Mm-hmm.
But naturally when you change stuff like that in config files, you aren't going to rewrite the entire engine to fix something like that.
Right.
We've learned quite a few things about the game's history, development. It's all trivial information.
Now we are moving on to a level with, quite frankly, one of the most insane skips, if not the most insane skip in the entire game. This is a volcanic trail. It immediately starts off with a with just like a regular skip for a Pancam, and then moved on to an actual out of bounds trick that skips 2 golden constructions, I believe, if not more. How many does it skip actually?
It is just on the Xbox
Just-
version. We have an earlier clip that you can do that allows you to skip 3 of the 4
Right.
level, and not found a way to replicate or place said trick on as a beam.
So this first thing, that was actually a skip for a pancam. You just have to stay as far to the left of the level as possible. And now that we have done that, we need to also keep in mind that we should not enter the trigger for the pancam again. And now we have to keep killing Rahi until we have to keep killing Rahi from a distance, and keep going with that until we have hero mode.
This area is also notably very dry when you spawn.
Yeah, I think if you triggered the pancam, it would give you more, but again, that's a bit counterproductive. Here we go. That's hero mode, and now we move on to the major skip in this level.
One of the... So earlier it was mentioned that going out of bounds generally not a good idea, especially getting under the level geometry.
Yeah.
This is the only level in the game where that is not the case. And first try.
Second try.
Yeah, on this jump. But
Yeah.
either way, we basically
We
get
are
up
now-
on that rock and then jump across the collision.
Yeah, and then we get onto this elevator, which can literally pick you up from pretty much anywhere as long as you are like in a cylinder around that elevator, which extends infinitely up or down, I guess. Like, you can be as far down that your model starts to experience floating point errors and just renders as a weird mass of polygons, and you will
the
still be
elevator
able to
was-
be picked up. Yep. So now we just move on here. The camera behaves a little bit oddly.
Actually whips you around. Times supposed to correct your view, looking forward, so you but it more often than
Right. So now we have picked up Nuparu, so now it's again the laser drill doing quick work of all of these enemies and props. So we will see that Footless just shoots towards these corners where the enemies are known to spawn, and does that.
the Vaki in this level also have a weird quirk. Specifically in this spot, if you shoot them while they're laying down, that's not a state that you can damage them in, but here specifically, damage. So thankfully, because of that, we can catch a lot quicker without it. Not exactly as sure if the devs knew the section would take forever, or if that's just oversight.
And here again, just one quick shot, and the
Actually,
enemies
avoid
are
that
all
cannon.
dead.
Good shoot.
And here, this shows that like between the cutscene of picking up the orb and then the other cutscene starting at the end, you can't. There are just a few frames where you can do things like shoot your gun.
If done under the wrong circumstances, also lag the game and come. Is that right? Think you practice wrong. That bad habit? This is another really... Probably about medium distribution of tricks in this level. This one generally feels satisfying.
I don't actually know if I don't actually know of many tricks in this one, so I would have to get refreshed on those.
Gladly.
Yeah.
and shoot him right as the cutscene starts and it soft locks. Shoot axe on, yeah. Yeah, that would be, that would indeed be a known soft lock, yes. We're just slowly making our way through the level and, of course, killing anything that comes in our way. Then here we have the Vaki, which when the game places them in our way, it really wants us to kill them. Always.
Another $3.
I don't know if I should tell you your running total for those or not. I guess if you want to know it. 17 right now that I've counted. I don't know if that lines up with your expectations or if I maybe missed something.
Well, definitely expected first, but
Here we go, we have hero mode again, and yeah.
there is an additional trick you could do here. If you stand in front or behind the golden contraction and activate it, it will force you out behind it. But I
Right.
opted to not go. Also continue in place. That also comes with the opportunity to get out of bounds.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on to our next trick. This is the first time that we are bypass Ollie's ability to walk on. Go up on this triangle, drop down.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's a lot quicker to grind this way. Then you have access
Yeah.
Kongu and Nuparu as opposed to just Holly.
Yep. Also getting pushed by that golden construction is something I haven't seen before.
It's actually kind of crazy. I do that every time.
Yeah. So now what
Theoretically
we
speaking, we could get a crazy launch out of it. That's a little lift animation. Play it during the pan. Saves a couple.
right.
If you don't wait pan cam to start, it will actually also play the animation afterward. Or it will start the pan cam after you have finished the animation. And this is another, it's not a GC skip, but it's a lift skip. Stand right here and strafe in immediately after the action. Fall right down.
Nice. So yeah, unfortunately, building things is restricted to Huki, which
I've always kind of had my thoughts about that. Not visually apparent. Yuki is not the most used boa without it.
yeah.
Another way to keep it relevant. Probably about the same reason throw switches are pretty frequent. We haven't
Right.
mentioned, but they are the white panels and levers and stuff that you have to activate or shoot with Matoro's weapon.
With that, we are entering the boss fight, which is again more similar to Nidiki's fight, where we just go and use hero mode all the time.
This one has a good pace too. I generally like the way this feels timing wise.
Here we go. Okay, kind of is trying to recover and backwards long jumps all the way to the next platform, and we have to go and follow him. You will see that sometimes he just like teleports. I don't know if that's in this cycle or the next one.
I was actually gonna get hero there.
Alright, so it is the next one. Again, goes back to this one, and yeah. Now we have to build another bridge, and there, seen teleport the cheater.
Teleports back.
Yep.
Nothing happened.
And now, turns out what we can do is, if we just shoot him right here, it will actually teleport us to the second to last thing right before the head, so we don't have to waste time building another bridge, and can go with one less.
Save time on that level. Kind of amazing.
Wonderful. I think now we just have Hakan as the Hakan fight and Zaktan remaining.
Yes. And then deck 4.
Right. Yeah, of course. Okay, so here we pick up Holly. It is kind of important that we do pick her up, because otherwise there is no other place where we can do so. And her ability allows us to get hero mode very, very quickly. Otherwise, here for now, what we do is we just pick up these pieces that are scattered around and do this excavation here. Go, we get hero mode, and this one is pretty much instant. The next one definitely won't be, or almost definitely won't be. Right, so here we pick up some more pieces that we left before, and now I think we'll go to this one with Kongu. Activate that. Get the pieces. Now again we get to kill some more enemies to get hero mode a tiny bit faster. But again, this will be yeah, it's now Hakan is in the middle, and we just have to literally wait for him to get over to
And oh boy, does he take his sweet time.
Yep, to get over to the right side. Yeah, he does. Here now he's on the platform. Now we're just literally waiting for him to jump over.
That's the sign that he's about to jump. Makes his jump.
And now we get to see like why we kept the Holly ability. Because it allows us to pretty much get hero mode almost instantly.
I would like to inform you that I have been robbed by RNG.
That is very unfortunate. Here we go, finally.
Good to know this game's not very good.
Yeah.
Does not play well with viewership.
I think it's also the fact that it's like the last run of the day, and it's kind of late. Though to that I will say that for me it has literally just become morning.
Heroes is now made canon. Wait, is it really? Firebolt says streamer, this is world record pace.
Definitely not.
I have my doubts too.
As
There
of
you go,
the
that's
last
one
split, we were
broken
about
neck.
2 minutes and 20 seconds behind world record.
There's another.
Well, actually, let me state that. Behind the previous world record splits. As mine decided they were going to commit corrupt. Just before.
That's unfortunate.
That's 2 Bionicle runners that have lost their splits today.
Yeah. I accidentally overwrote mine. I had to retype them manually from my PB, which means that my sum of best is no longer accurate.
Saved a tiny bit of time here.
Yeah, that's good.
I don't know how. But
Now we just have Zactan remaining. Zactan is one of the, and of course the Redac 4 level. Zactan is one of the relatively few levels that don't really have a lot of major skips. And yeah, if they had, then this would be a drastically different run.
the game's any percent route being in its relatively young state compared to the rest of the game's library. Always You can basically boot up the game and find a new trick, so
Yeah,
The,
this
cap for potential. We're within our grasp.
I guess with that, the natural question would be, where do you think the game could go within like the next 3 years, let's say? What do you think the world record time would be, and what do you think the time everyone strives for would be?
I think for some reason we stopped finding tricks in its current state to achieve stuff or get everything to go right in the
Yeah,
current
what I
world
meant
record
was...
is around 308.15, but if we find more tricks, who knows?
Yeah, what I meant was if we like find more tricks at approximately the rate that we have now, with approximately like the time saves that we have now, what could we get? Also, now we are going to try for another golden construction skip.
Well, on.
One.
I screwed this one up a lot in practice today, so
There's two.
this is where they rack up. 3.
Three.
5. 7. So it was 6 total.
Right.
That was counting the no cues as well.
Okay. That would be 6 tallied.
Normally I don't struggle with that one quite as much. A is the exception.
Well, it's for a good cause, so...
Almost none of the build.
Yeah, this layout here is a little bit confusing for new runners. Now we are just quickly going to get hero mode because I think outside of there's a lot of abilities that we can then use to quickly get it back after we have used it up.
I'm gonna get us close.
Now we do a similar thing as we did before in AVAC, where we just move while the golden construction is activating to get to these peace caches faster. Here we go, we are basically at hero mode again. Now this is the place where it could get quite loud, so be aware.
Our audio balance should be adjusted.
Yeah. Still.
This is Lirak. He likes to be loud.
Yep.
So loud it needed to be said twice.
And there we go, there's the first golden construction, and now we just try and get hero mode from all of these enemies that he spawns. So now we can just get into a spot where we can shoot at Lirak, but he cannot shoot at us, and then from there we can just continue to damage him with Holly. Holly's weapon is good at this because it just hits every frame basically, instead of Jawlers, which actually comes out in projectiles and therefore doesn't do that.
Interesting. I'm surprised to see that he doesn't hate the tree today. Usually he will shoot the tree off to my right. Oh, well. There you go. Kill these enemies. Really, really does not like these. Interactive game.
Yep. Very engaging.
Ooh, buddy, okay.
Here we go.
I will wait until it actually tells me how far we are ahead, but good save. About 30 seconds. Lotus's splits.
That's good.
No legs. Ladies and gentlemen, you can turn your headphones back up.
Yep. We are out of the woods as far as that is concerned. Now we move on to this level, which in 100% is kind of very annoying due to the placement of a few canisters, and especially due to the fact that it's close to the end of the run.
The third longest cutscene by runtime.
Sure seems like it.
I've chosen to spare stream the burden, but I often mimic the noises the Paraka make in these. Something to pass it. A little too.
Yeah.
Got a mask. That one. I really don't, but
Oh, that's nice. Didn't even know that that was a thing.
yeah, you can actually do that on both sides.
Huh.
Skips an enemy trigger if you don't shoot. Bro. Plate.
Right.
That slow death enemy.
Yeah, that is another source of RNG that we didn't really really mention before. So basically, when an enemy dies, they can choose to either just immediately turn into pieces or to actually just lie down there for like 3 seconds, like I am dead, before they actually become pieces. And that is obviously very annoying and slows. Over the course of the run, it does slow us down by quite a lot. Here, a funny little thing: if you really want to run 100% for some reason, if you didn't shoot a Matoro plate before this, you cannot get a canister anymore.
Either have to get it on a revisit or start the level.
Yep.
And unfortunately, that means you have to grab all of the canisters you may have got in the previous run, as one of the major differences to this game relative to the rest of the games.
Yep.
Do not have a save and quit option in the levels. We just have a quit option.
Yeah, and also, of course, without no cut, we would have to watch the cutscenes all over again. So really, the 100% run of this game is much more of a gauntlet than the other runs.
Getting very poor spawns right now. Worse than this level usually, even.
Now, I don't think I've seen that the game would be that horrible. Like,
When executed well, it's really fun to run, but when you're on a kind of run like this, it can be really punishing. Definitely not fair.
yeah.
And having a thick set of nostalgia goggles came off.
Yeah. I think for both of us, this was one of our first ever video games.
Yeah, either this or Super Mario Sunshine were my first games as a child, so
I think this was either my like second or third game that I ever played, so it does carry quite some nostalgia for me, but not really enough for me to actually try to learn to be a competitive runner.
some would say an acquired taste.
Yeah.
Maybe a taste acquired under a lack of judgment. Be the judge of that.
Right, yes. I have said numerous times in discussions about like which Bionicle games might be better. I've said that Heroes is just way too long for its own good.
Opto. Never let my bias wane.
Well, at least you admit it exists. That is something.
Doesn't exactly have the strongest ever.
That is also true.
Game that could have been. Hope I don't get the Vaki spawn. Yeah, he's already moved.
That's good.
That's that level.
Yep. So now we just have 3 remaining and then the final boss fight. So technically 4.
Alright, and Forgotten Shrine has a few tricks in it. The
Yeah.
most notable thing in the area is the first golden construction shrine below it. So one of the things before I even go into the area to do it, grab some.
Right.
Taking advantage of the magnet.
Yeah, this grind can get very long.
Mostly as a result to or of lack of good spawn. A high peak requirement.
Should get it relatively soon though, I think.
Thankfully, the level does have a few sides too. Soon.
Hopefully.
Now I will purposely backtrack from Mask.
Yeah, you cannot get Holly from any other position in this level, so... And then at some point later it is quite important that you get her for to get a lot of pieces very quickly.
Alright, I'm gonna attempt this a couple. Because this trick is really cool if we can get it working, but it is lethal all fall we have. Give it one more attempt.
Alright.
Count that. We can do a wall fall there, and it saves a bit of time. It's not really faster time, but it looks pretty good. And get it done. Figured I'd give it a couple more attempts. Good. Go. Thankfully, get by that.
Yeah, there is also a golden construction skip right here.
Hey, now you just walk up that
Wonderful.
That specific triangle there, and it will carry you up.
And then here This room I refer to affectionately as the realization room, as taken as a reference to the first 100% run, because this was the time where Footloose realized that he had been at the run for over 9 hours, leading
Not
to
miss
quite
that
a funny clip.
So glad
Right,
we're
and
actually
here,
getting
this is what we needed, why we needed Holly, because we get another hero mode basically immediately after exhausting the first one, and now we are going to go into another wall fall.
first try.
Oh wow, gets it first try.
It's not
So now we
usually
move
too
on.
hard.
Yep, now we move on to the easily one of, if not the longest boss fights in the entire game. That is the fight here against Sidrak.
First cycle,
so-
we just have to wait.
Yep. And here we go. And yeah, now we start breaking up these things, whatever they are.
Yeah, Borak, egg thing.
Yeah,
Or not
except
Borak.
I don't have Borak. Yeah, Vizorak. And start killing more of the Vizorak to hopefully from far away, so we get the pieces with Magnet Collection. Here we go, get another hero mode and immediately using it, that's great.
This is the only one we think you can one cycle. Does the next cycle, or the next phase, do you want to provide enough? Or have been nothing big. There are a bunch more eggs behind this that Drake will pop out of. Don't forget.
Oh, I always went for them, so...
Okay, let me rephrase that. They would, but you cannot get to them fast enough. Then also, so it might actually
Right.
be possible to do that first, but also still have to trade a cycle. I don't really know how we're going. That one.
Right. Right. And now we just go back to the standard phases for every boss, so we just wait
Wait.
for quite a long time. So he finally decides to drop his shield. And we get to shoot him once. And so on. We've already seen this so many times before.
That's up already. there. Normally that's something I have to pick up for health replenishing, but Ron has really good drop rates for drop RN part.
Right. So now, finally, we can get out of this level, and then we have just Zaktan and Redak as fights remaining.
Seconds there.
Wonderful. And yeah. Now we are moving on here. Have to pick up Nuparu, or well, it's much better if we pick up Nuparu than if we don't. Now, I think the first thing that Footloose is going to do is he's going to activate Gust ability.
Yes.
And
I'm going
yeah.
to open Broken Door. Show you why we call it Broken. Right now, actually. So, this level has auto pickup on for magnet pieces, which allows you to sit in the room and avoid shots both from Zaktan and enemy fire as well as activate infection.
Right. Long game? Yeah, indeed. This is a very long game.
Up there with the longest in any percent category.
But yeah, we are indeed relatively close to the end.
And to speed this segment up, the next phase here primarily spawns Baki, so we will use torch ability area and excavate. Speed this. Why did I? Torch is not the most consistent ability.
Yeah, it is. With me, that has kind of become an inside joke because I just, for whatever reason, can never seem to just get a torch ability first try. Just have to try like 3 times before it finally works.
The weird thing about Torch is instead of being like a standard build ability, it is applying damage to the piece that can only be damaged that way. And if you're not finely positioned, it's not one of the better designed elements of this game. We don't interact with them much in the run, though, so 100%.
Yep.
Still a relatively okay run. Nothing. Like, it's still behind. to choke the. My world record is relative. There's a lot that can go wrong in a run like this thing. Fair amount of things that you're doing about it.
Yeah, as it stands, any record is just bound to have mistakes in it, and quite a few which might be very important.
No, please. That's
Go!
missing leg. Back. Like said no. It's a
Yeah, I've heard this from a reviewer who talked about this game, that a lot of his humor is based about how easily these pieces break, and he talks about isn't that like kind of bad advertising?
I mean, it's supposed to come apart. Not gonna talk about lime green, no, but
Yeah, I think
at least
06
it's
was
accurate
like,
source material. in that regard.
Yep. I think 06 was the year where you still had like good joints.
For the most part. The trans clear ones could be a little finicky over time, especially nowadays. By that metric, the Kalamata piece. $22. Quickly rating.
now we are in the second to last level.
This is the last level, but not the last boss fight.
Right.
Freak our viewers out for this.
Yeah. And then here it is also absolutely imperative that we do not lose Kongu, otherwise this will take a lot longer.
If this
So-
fight goes well, I might add, I might still beat the previous record.
Right.
The world. The game is so unauthorized.
Yeah. I guess here this would be like the place to say where if you want to try and help out with running this game or any other Bionicle game, you can join our Discord, which,
We do have a
Yeah.
Discord.
yes.
About 100 people in there interested in running Bionicle games. They're all, well, okay, let me Heroes is generally unoptimized and desperate need of runners. Failing it. You stop by and lend yourself over a pair of extra eyes. Help find tricks. We do not have any practical application for lag, nor do we even work. But given the release window, that could exponentially drop the record. If that is the working theory in my also have my thoughts as to applications for 100. Wouldn't really do anything but cut out a couple of revisits, but as we only have one level we can get, and it is this one. not to steal the thunder. Guess there's our mild advertising panel.
Yeah. I mean, there's not really a lot to talk about here. You see that, again, as I have mentioned at the start, there is no golden construction here. So you are not supposed to get hero mode. Which means that this just bumps the difficulty up very significantly.
It also means that all this enemy defeating I'm doing here is literally just...
And also so that they don't kill us.
This too. With the RNG being the way it is on health drops, generally favorable. You can just run around with power the whole time and mash mouse. That was good. Back. What? Feel it coming.
Bionicle, the game can be done, any percent can be done in under an hour. World record is 38:36 if anyone is interested in a shorter game. I guess now
Legend
if you're...
of Madanui as well can also be
Yeah,
done in
now-
under an hour.
Yeah, now that we're plugging this, yeah. Legend of Madanui can be done in under an hour, about an hour, something real time, and your first run would likely be something like an hour and a half, so you're looking for something in like the middle between these two.
Kind of depends on the category you want to run. We also have plenty of subdivision categories for heroes, as it's probably the only thing keeping this game alive at the moment. ILs, full world runs, and plenty more to come, actually. I was not aware that a lot of the TT Games franchises have separate categories for, like, all... for our equivalent to be, like, all silver, all gold, stuff like that. I definitely think the thing to watch out for in the future is full world runs of heroes. I think the maximum time one of those takes, the 4 levels of zone, for clarification, is Zactan, or not Zactan 3, but Zactan's Jungle, and that one's about 35 minutes. Any percent? So, they're relatively nice little bite-sized chunks of the game that up to this point have really just been used practice.
Right.
These categories have access higher potentials because of the specials they get to play under. You can mess with the difficulty value by creating saves to let you go in if possible.
Yeah, I don't really have a lot to add here. Yeah, it's just you're trying to continue running around and waiting for Redak to just drop his shield. If there was some way to push him out of bounds, that would save an insane amount of time.
Be 8 to 9 minutes.
Yeah.
That would be probably would honestly catapult it to being one of the fastest levels in the game, period. If the clip is quick. I think Xbox's Volcanic Trail currently the fastest, walking in it. Might be a little high, I don't remember.
In chat, someone is saying it's somewhat ironic and or fitting that Redux boss fight is the one without golden construction since he's an inventor. I didn't actually know that. So that is, I guess, some funny trivia.
Seems like both of they're stone, right? I feel like an idiot for not knowing. I blame. Right? Nuparu and Redac, it's both stone, right?
Yeah. Well, it's supposed to be Earth, but here it's stone, I guess. Or is
It is Earth, but both of the Earth characters, 2006.
Yeah. Yes.
Engineering types. See, now I'm having a very, very concerned moment here. Both these Vizon fights go well, I could. What is my life? I've gained so much time back that I hope not. I'd love to because it's a marathon. No, actually, I think we're safely out of the.
Well, now we are moving on to the final level.
That's rude. Had that happen.
And here we go, the fight is starting. This is mostly RNG, and yeah, it's obviously the best if Fenrak can just jump forward with both legs, and that's it. But yeah.
I'm getting a lot of fire. Ready. Good thing we burnt on case.
Right.
So basically, the phases of this fight are: he does this thing where he does the fight left, right, left, and then strikes with, and also fire during.
Right.
And then we hail when he does that. And eventually, we will make that hail on.
Yes, and yeah. Yeah, jettisoning last level Monkey's.
You're kidding me. Again. Heroes and I definitely have a love-hate relationship. There's no doubt about that.
Yep.
Alright, and there goes the tail. From here, the boss will demonstrate to us that we can no longer damage it in that way by striking with both front legs immediately. Certainly hope I can get out of the way in time. Okay, that would have wiped me. Here he switches to being damageable in one out.
Yeah, so now it is just important to shoot the legs, and it's that
Never
was
had him wait that long.
very
That's
tight.
crazy.
Now
Normally,
he
Finrag is
once
not
again
so nice.
jumps forward.
Then he
Nice
loses that
RNG.
leg,
Yep. Now he loses
loses
this leg.
one.
Now the head.
Okay, well,
If we can.
if you
There
don't
we
hit
go.
him, he will automatically die. But you can hit him and speed that up a little bit.
Yep.
We have a phase here.
Yep.
We have
Now, for the three of you that are watching this on Windows XP, don't worry, your computer is not blue screening. That is just what Vizon's weapon sounds like.
we are coming up on time after I damage him with, or after this. Alright, time.
Okay.
My auto splitter didn't stop.
Yeah, I don't. It doesn't stop for me either. I don't know why. Nice wave. And with that, we get the Mask of Life. GG indeed. So the time I can see on the thing is 3:09:38.
I think it was actually a 3:09:37 or so. I was late on saying time. But either way, that's only a minute and some change behind world record. That tells you how free it would be for you to take this record from me if you wanted it. So moving on
Yeah.
quickly though. Head back into.
So yeah, when we say that Nolpo did a lot for this game, we do genuinely mean it. So
As soon as I tab back into the game, you'll see what I mean. We have a DLL hook, all because of him. And it's really helpful for practicing these segments. really long. Like, for example, forgot these cutscenes exist. Not the practice build.
Yep.
I'll give it one. Get it? Tell him, Abak. Tell that camera. Don't want.
Yeah, we have a button just to activate hero mode, and then we can also just set up a position and then load that position from anywhere within a level. So if you have seen like how Super Mario Sunshine's practice codes work, this is very similar to that. Here we go, we have hero mode, and we can also just fly around.
I don't.
So here we are just gonna try and get that one frame again.
I was a frame early. Again. Pretty sure.
Unfortunate.
Yeah. Also, attempt to demo the other one. For time constraint reasons. Doing them empty. It's a really tight trick, but as we mentioned in the
Hold on.
not quite as much as skipping levels. Was a pretty big found it. Thank you. Oh my.
Could you use the jump button instead?
Yeah, probably. I am LEGoof.
Yeah.
As soon as we get past these, I will show you the things I actually had prepared for this. A little bummed out we couldn't get these to work during the run. But, nonetheless, kind of the way things go. Might be good. I'll have to wait and see what the thing says. No, it was not good. But chaining that together with the fast Kreka trick creates the opportunity to do what we have dubbed fastest Kreka. And Ondrik, I will let you go ahead and go on with that.
Yeah, to elevate alternate archetypes in the marketplace, parentheses fastest Kraken.
That was well enjoyed.
Yes.
We'll say on the record that guy is either very ill-informed or the best political satirist of our generation. I would generally first one.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know.
But anyhow, one of the common things that I want to know, which can be a bit goofy, the new Paru walls in this not made very well. as you will
Yeah.
see in a minute. I've already shown off what you can do with them that is advantageous to run, but what if I told you not? This. Flip out of bounds. This is also an example of how, say for example, Lego Indiana Jones has section. Flip out of bounds, there is a little bit of where to stand on under. That does not happen in this. Off.
The infinite room in Attack 1.
Oh, yes, yes. Also,
And
it's
potentially,
debatable.
and then potentially Baraka Playground cutscenes we wanted to show, and Death by Lava maybe, and
Fit those in.
some more there too.
I compiled a list of things that we could show off that aren't already showed off in the run, and unfortunately, quite a few glitches are cognitive or rely on some corruption to happen, so we will be skipping those. Oh, walk on top of this. Never tried. No, that might be the only place in the game that you. Scuffed coordinate viewer here. It does not like the shaders. That is what's happening. All of our practice builds are built or do not have the bloom effect. But one of the casual things that might be of use to some of you that may choose to revisit this game in the near future, if you ever come up short on pieces, this room spawns enemies in. And if you have, well, say if you have these on, you can go in here with these on and basically tape the fire key down or the fire button on the controller infinitely farm loop. And this will continue to loop for as long as you let it loop. Like I said, we're not entirely sure this one wasn't a bug, but it's not well known enough that I figured it was worthwhile to show.
Oh, it is to be noted that if you want to grind pieces efficiently, and if you have if you are there at the computer to grind pieces efficiently, it is much faster to grind them in the bonus levels.
But that's if you want to leave it completely
Yeah.
AFK overnight.
Now, if you want to AFK, then go there.
Go ahead and go over here quick. This one may be a little get going. Basically, you have to hope that reacts in the.
Actually, you have to. Yeah, you have to buy the things. And maybe load up a 100% save instead.
Happen to have present. The very same save I ran 100.
Yeah, it would be around that time. I don't remember exactly.
Eight. Okay, yeah, this works. So there's a bit of a visual glitch here that's a bit funny to take a look at. His chin is or his entire jaw for that matter, is rigged improperly, so it always looks like he has a huge underbite. And it is-
Also, a funny thing, the PC version does not actually remove the weapons from their models, so instead it just shrinks them. I don't know if that's really visible here on Redac.
I can that one. I can over at the vibe check chair.
Alright.
Vibe check. But if you pay attention to the fingers, you can still see. The no draw flag has not properly been applied to the weapon. I believe that's a bit of the Zammer sphere hanging off the tip of his middle finger, left hand.
That's just like the scissor blades or whatever they are, just very small. Maybe if we have time, just load up the debug version. I don't know.
Probably.
Because there we could show off things like Death by Lava or Okay, what we can do here is do AVAC free crash if you want.
Oh, right. So, another one I wanted to check is an issue. Watching these cutscenes, it's not. I'll show the other part, but this set of cutscenes doesn't actually finish properly, so there is a floating bit that stays in place when it really shouldn't. There you go. Floating gun. If I were to reload real quick and show that off, it would not be there. They both start out on the table. Let me
Alright.
practice run.
Okay. This is unfortunately going to take quite a while for reasons
seems-
completely unknown.
It seems as if my restart sustained. Super unfortunate. Enjoy a black screen for the next 2 minutes. Get you here. Guess you casually mention if somebody knows a fix for this. It always happens during the section where the Bink cutscene plays. And at this point, I have tried just about everything anybody my way. So if you have any more suggestions, feel free. Heroes being heroes. But I guess I shouldn't say that this isn't an issue for me restricted solely to heroes. It happens for every game I try to. One of the tricks that I'm going to show off. Well, I guess it's not a trick. There is a particular way to crash the game that can be detrimental to runs. Particularly for new players that don't fully have the trick understood quite yet.
I think first we should show off the other things because the crash should be the last one, you know.
Oh,
We
true.
don't want to
Well, I
stay
don't, I
here.
don't know if we're gonna have much time left anyway. But
Yeah, I guess that's
really hard
Justin's call.
to heal up unused glitches. I have been pinged in the LEGO speedrun server. Hopefully this is the coveted solution.
No. Take 10 more minutes if you want, but you can end whenever. Okay, we have like 10 minutes left.
Yeah, I apologize. I started leaning back. Bug menu, by the way. Oh, shoutouts to what are those, by the way. The debug menu produces its own special amount of, or special kind of glitches. You do nearly complete, or if you set the nearly complete flag menu, it doesn't switch the models, it just switches the hand pose, so Kongu gets a little bit of those, or a little bit of that, those action going down.
I guess we can show off Death by Lava and perhaps the no toy flag that I talked about.
What we're doing. It won't get in the way. Where down is it? So yeah, it literally just doesn't draw the toy.
Yep.
And this is kind of a spoof of first person. Trying to get the experience like this, except for the game does break. For example, you cannot interact with constructions stuff in the. Jump over this quickly and then enable flight. Our debug menu has its moments where it's a little crude, but our debug menu in particular doesn't provide as much stuff as the others do, so we kind of have to make do. Happy it exists. A couple of the tricks, a couple of the glitches I wanted to go off real quick will actually require me to cut off no. Okay. One of the things we use in 100% as a bit of a sequence break to skip having to do this on second visit. After you do bridge clip over there, and these get back inbound, and then grab that, jump across, and then slip by the. But the other thing we wanted to show off here. Go and.
It's just Dino. Oh yeah, there we go.
But there is a curious triangle over here. Spells Doom. If you ever come out here, don't go this far out, because this is what we call death by lava. No idea why, but there's just missing tries there for collision, and a bit goofy. Really had to scrape the bottom of the barrel to find these glitches for you guys, by the way. We use just about everything that we have. Jump here real quick. Oh, by the way, we have a jump button now. Shoutouts to again.
Yep.
There's another way to clip out here. Let you get out here. It would technically be quicker if you didn't have to watch a cutscene to do it. But that's just a little bit of trivia. I won't show it here as well, but you can also crash the game. Or not crash the game, soft lock the boss fight there. If you get hero mode. Not supposed. It will cause Gurok to not get out of shield. We've jumped back into Redac 4 because there is another 100% that is very, very good for the category, as it prevents us from having to come back a second time. In a normal playthrough, you'd come here twice because this is the only level that has he's on construction in it. Normally you'd build this. Need to actually build it. To go street. Figure out how really the no hold set on that. But yeah, you can climb up on this, jump right through the gap in the there and canister. The only downside to this is once you're in here, you're stuck unless you do this at the very end of the fight where he's helpless mode. Shoot him like that, and it will set your spawn back to the default reset. Yeah. Then the final trick I'll show off, or final glitch I will show off, is quite the odd one. If you fail the cutscene skip that we use for the hero mode preservation level, here golden construction. And yeah, see what I mean? This section can get pretty. But if you just hold forward, you do the trick, lol. Missed the crash plane, but that's fine. Probably drop down onto it from here. Or not. Why is this so precise? There you go. All right. That crashes the game. Kind of the noob killer of the run if you're not careful. Higher run. But anyway, with that, I will go ahead and wrap up our glitch showcase. I know it wasn't the most magnificent segment, but I did not have a console present to be able to show you some of the crazier things. But anyhow, I think that's it for today's segment. It is they're going to go ahead and wrap up stream. I appreciate LEGOthon staff for allowing Bionicle to present on the stream, and
Mm, me too. So this was great.
yeah, we definitely had a lot of fun being here, and we appreciate it. Hopefully we'll be back in future years. But anyway, this has been Footloose or Super Mario 64 ZX353, and
Andrik or
Mm.
Northkim.
I think we're gonna go ahead and sign off. Thank you guys for watching. More to come tomorrow.